always into the trend of what was going. He always diverted to new fields, you know, and that was what he was into.
Yeah.
Right then.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, another thing about Keith, he was instantly recognisable, wasn't he? I mean, you put a tune on, and it was either a Keith Hudson production featuring himself or others, and it was always recognisable as a Keith Hudson production.
With his type of rhythms that he made.
Yeah. And the musicians that he had. Was he working with the Barrett twins, the Barrett brothers, before Marley then?
About the same time, because when Keith did Torch of Freedom, he used to use the Wailers band when other people used to use them too, but like after that, Bob like just secluded them to himself, you know, because they were like session musicians then. Keith would be using them sometime, Bob would be using them sometimes, but that was, you know, he started getting a lot of recognition here in black music and all that. People started comparing him with Bob because, you know, the rhythm sections were so similar yet in different productions, you know, so from there Bob just streamlined them to himself. Keith had the problem of getting a new section together.
So that would be like middle 70s when Bob signed to Ireland.
74, 75, coming down 76.
Right. So what's happening, obviously there's lots of Keith Hudson productions lying around the studio and lying around people's offices and whatnot. What's happening to the Keith Hudson business as such? Because I know you worked for Keith on joint music in New York, didn't you?
Yeah.
What's happening to all that area of Keith's music then?
Well, it came to the point where, you know, we weren't getting actually the support of that traditional Keith Hudson market. You know, like people who used to pick up on Keith before, when he was alive, they were into so many different styles and, you know, computers and all this. So it was kind of overlooked. So it wasn't really a feasible business at the time. But I still think there's a market all over for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, certainly, like, even dub albums, like Brand Dub is an album that, like, people pay 30, 40 quid for,
Exactly.
You know, and you can see if it's reissued, it's bound to sell, like, 10,000 at least, you know. It'd be good to see that stuff coming back, you know.
Yeah, we plan to do some of that, though, in the future, you know, as soon as I say, the response is there, that, you know, make it marketable.
Right, well, what we've got is one of Keith's tunes, and this is a version of Desiree on Joint International Records. Is this still available, then? Can we still get hold of it?
Again, reissuing these, at the time, you know, it wasn't really a market, but reissuing them can be like next year or any time, as soon as we see, like, as you're saying now, if people start picking up, because, you know, the new generation of listeners are not all familiar with Keith Hudson. We are, and a couple of other traditional reggae collectors and stuff.
Right.
You know, so as soon as we get that awareness, you know, we could start reissuing a lot of the stuff.
Well, in the meantime, this is one to look out for if you see it on any lists anywhere. This is a 12-inch, and it's a version of Desiree called Desiree, I Sing For You, the great Keith Hudson. Well, that's Keith Hudson and the version of Desiree, I Sing For You. And we're now talking to Junior Walker about Jusic Incorporated, I think it is, Junior.
International.
Jusic Incorporated International. Another artist you worked with, I think at the beginning of the 80s, was one who's internationally known now in reggae circles, and that's Frankie Paul, yeah.
Yeah, we, at High Times, you know, we started out with Frankie Paul, did his first recording with us. You know, I actually sang harmony on his first record, you know, African Princess. And he's like soared to heights that we knew he would, you know, and I really appreciated to be working with him. You know.
I mean, you put Frankie now alongside such greats like Dennis and Gregory and people like that, don't you? But don't you think he's been like over-recorded? Because every other, it seemed that a little while ago, every other week there was a Frankie Paul album coming out.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems. I haven't got a hold of him for a couple of years, and as soon as I do, that's one of the problems we're going to be talking about. You know.
Does he still record for Chinna then, for High Times?
No, haven't for a long time, because his first album, as I said, his first recording, first album was with High Times, you know, and people picked up on his talent then, and since that we haven't got a chance to really get him back in our studio.
Because he was very young at that time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was going to school then, about 16, going on 17.
Yeah, is he sighted in any way, or is he totally blind, Frankie?
It's not a total blindness, but I think like one eye is partially sighted. You know, his corrective lens kind of helped him a bit. You know, but he's.
It just seems to me that he's been in classic reggae style or classic Kingston style. He's been taken advantage of by a lot of producers, getting him like to voice rhythms that were inferior. I mean, there's a lot of good Frankie Paul products around, but you get to think if he'd been handled properly, he'd have been like a bigger star, maybe a crossover star, you know, rather than the stuff he's putting out.
Frankie has a natural love for singing, you know, so that's one of the reasons.